Hello YouTube. I moved my computer around so you now get a different background on my videos. Alright, tonight's topic, I'm sure you've heard that a plane from Paris going to Egypt found its way into the Mediterranean Ocean, to put it politely. I'm not here going to speculate on what I think the problem was, or I think what happened. I'm going to let you know what the two presidential candidates thought of it. Now, I know Bernie Sanders is beating Hillary in every state. Every state, he's either real close or beating her. But yet, she somehow is way ahead in the delegates section. And they try to claim that the RNC is rigged. The DNC is worse. Okay, that's the Democrat side. Republican and Democrat. Democrats have something called superdelegates, which means their opinion counts more than anybody else's. And yet, they're the ones that cry, every vote counts. They're the ones that cry, everyone should be voting. Criminals, illegals, everybody needs to be voting. Everyone should be allowed to vote. But yet, their primary system has superdelegates where their vote counts more than anybody else's. That's like saying landowners have 2 votes to where non-landowners only get 1 vote. And that's what it was way back in the 1800s. So, Democrats, please, get with the times. If you're going to cry about every vote counts, then quit giving certain people more power to their vote. Get rid of your superdelegate system. Put it to the people. If you truly believe in the power of the people, put the vote to the people in your primaries, not to superdelegates that get wined and dined and millions of dollars spent on them to schmooze them all up into liking you. Okay? Fix your system. That said, Hillary's response to that plane that went down was sit back, relax, let somebody else come up with a decision, and then say, oh yeah, I agree with that. Alright? That's not how a president's supposed to be. That's not how a leader leads. You don't let Spain or France or Italy or Egypt or Syria or Iraq or anybody else. I mean, it's nice that they come up with decisions. It's nice that they come up with solutions. And it's good for the U.S. to hear those solutions. But when you are the President of the United States, the President of the free world, the rest of the world still looks to the U.S., surprisingly. They've been laughing at us for a while, for the last 8 years, but they still kind of look to us for leadership in this world. Because they know that we fight for freedom. We fight for what's right in this world. We fight for every person, young, old, male, and female, to live equally. A lot of parts of the world won't allow non-landowners power, or females power, or males of a certain regional area to have power, or certain religious belief to have power. But here in America, we allow heads of corporation to be any religion they want, to be male or female, to love males or females of their choice. We don't say you have to be heterosexual. We don't say they have to be homosexual. We don't say they have to be a certain gender. We don't tell them that they have to be a certain religion, a certain political philosophy. We don't. We allow them to run corporations. We allow them to run companies. We allow them to get bank loans and drive and go to school. And I mean, it doesn't matter where you come from in America. And we fight for that across the world. So for Hillary to sit there and say, France and Egypt what did you come up with? Because me as the president, I'm not going to do a dang thing until you come up with a solution. That's why we still haven't gone after the people that attacked us in Benghazi. That is why this president and Hillary said, one of those two said, stand down to the troops that were on the tarmac, ready to take off and go assist in fighting back. They were within hours, couple hours. I mean, I could see if the plane was in the air and the action was over and the people were dead, turning around, going back, because there was nothing else you can do. The fight's already over and our guys are dead. But they weren't. From the first attack to the death, I heard was 13 hours. That's plenty of time for these guys to get on a plane, fly over there, and protect him. Put some bullets in the air and get those bad guys away from that area. We could have saved them. But Hillary said, stand down. Either she got it from the president or she said it herself, because something like that probably came from one of those two departments. Either the president or the State Department. One of those two said it. Because that is unacceptable. And to this day, I don't think we've ever gone over there demanding justice. We didn't shake any heads, rattle some heads around to, shake the country up and find who did it. Nobody's been held accountable for those murders yet, as far as I know. But that was her reaction in Benghazi, and that was her reaction to this plane crash, was, what does everybody else think? Then I'll formulate my choice. No, you should instantly, boom, like Donald Trump did. This is what I think it was. This is the action we should be taking. Yes, we can still debate and discuss and try and, investigate whether it was terrorism. But in the meantime, we know that there's terrorist cells, called a whole terrorist group called ISIS, sitting in Iraq, Syria, and spreading out, trying to get into Egypt. We know that these people are there. We know the Sinai Peninsula has them. We know Yemen has terrorists. We know Iraq has them. We know they're in Syria. We should not be sitting there waiting for somebody else to take the lead. Egypt is trying to fight them. After what they did to those Egyptians, marched them all, on the beach there and then killed them all, Egypt is fighting them. Is U.S. backing them? No. What do? We send some drones over there. Well, you know how easy it is to get out of the sight of a drone? You go into a building. Now they can't see you. Okay? And yes, I know drones can launch missiles and blow up the whole building. But more times than not, they're not going to, because that building that they just walked into was a school or a hospital. So we don't attack it because there's kids or sick people there. They know this, and that's what they're doing. We need to put troops into that area and tell these people, look, when we come walking past you, you better not have a single weapon in your hand, and you better maybe even have them lay down on the ground. And if anybody tries shooting at us, we will totally destroy you. We are the most technology advanced military in the world. We are still one of the most powerful. Yes, we are weakened because of this administration's refusal to fund us, to fund the military properly. But we still can have superiority. Yes, coalitions are great to have. Yes, it would be nice to have one of those countries in that part of the world stand up against them. Well, guess what? We already have that. The Iraqis are trying to fight them, and we are not helping them. The Egyptians are trying to fight ISIS, and we are not helping them. I think Jordan is trying to fight them, and we are not helping them. We have people in that area willing to stand up and try to take the lead, but they cannot lead if they don't have superiority. They cannot lead if they don't have enough troops to complete the mission. And this president refuses to help them other than drones. We need to fly aircraft in there, like Russia's doing with Syria. We need to be flying aircraft all over the place. We need to be sending troops in there and tanks. Okay? You don't want boots on the ground? That's fine. But at least put some treads on the ground. Let's put some wheels and treads on the ground. How about that? Let's put some wheels and treads, man those vehicles, and move. And do it. Do what needs to be done to wipe these people out. They are infiltrating everywhere. Having Syrian refugees come to America is not the answer. This president's policies looked at the San Bernardino woman 5 times. And 5 times they said, oh, she can stay here. And what happened? She went on a killing spree. She converted her husband and then went on a killing spree. 5 times, people. She was supposedly vetted by this government. And yet, we're supposed to be reassured that tens of thousands of people coming across from Syria are all going to be properly vetted to harbor no ill will towards us and are true refugees and don't want violence. That we should just open our borders and let them in. I say no. I'm all for helping your hungry. I'm all helping for those that are in harm's way. But if you can't vet them properly, I don't want what happened in Paris to happen here. I don't want what happened in San Bernardino to happen in other cities across the U.S. I don't want what happened in Belgium to happen here. I don't want what happened to that flight going to Egypt to happen here. Right? I want us to be safe. And we cannot allow a president who sits there and waits for somebody else to make a decision on our security. Granted, this plane flying from Paris to Egypt had no Americans on it. Granted, it was not an American flight, an American airline. It was not, had no correlation to America at all. But it could have easily been. That flight coming out of Paris, going to Egypt, could have been a flight coming out of Paris, going to New York, with a bunch of Americans on it. And went down the middle of the Atlantic. That's how easy it could have been. That's what could have been. Had they put that package or whatever it was that took down that plane onto the plane that was flying to New York. Do we want that? This president is so bent on we defeated terrorism that he refuses to see that terrorism still exists. He refuses to see that Al-Qaeda still exists. He refuses to see that Yemen still has problems with the people in there. He refuses to see that Hezbollah is still attacking Israel. He still fails to see that ISIS is reaching out to Europe and America and attacking. He refuses to see all these other terrorist organizations around the world rising up. That terrorist group in Africa that kidnapped a bunch of women. One girl escaped, and she's pregnant. And I do say girl because she wasn't even 18 yet. He refuses to see it. He refuses to act on it. Instead, he sends troops to go fight a virus in Western Africa. You don't send troops to fight a virus. You send troops to fight people. You send doctors to fight a virus. So when that virus was running rampant over in Western Africa, he should have been sending doctors, not soldiers. Soldiers don't know how to fight a virus. Doctors do. Soldiers know how to beat the enemy. That's what we were trained to do, and that's what we do. Is to protect the innocent and fight the enemy. That enemy is people, not viruses. So, that's my rant. Go on 15 minutes. Stay safe, everybody. Remember, we can disagree, But these are the topics that nobody wants to discuss. Take care.